Hello, today's video will be our last video about methods and how to divide our codes into different methods. And today we will be talking about how to pass arguments by reference. So going back to our Jackpot application, we have seen how we have divided the score user method into several methods. So we have created the create number method, the apply when in rule method, and the create results message method. So basically in here within the same method, what we do is to create a number using these 3 digits that are displayed on the screen. That is our create number method. Then we apply a winning rule. So our winning rule is if that number is above a specific threshold, whether it's 500 or 700 or any other value that we specify, then we have a winner. And then we create our result message, and that method creates a message that displays whether the user wins or loses. And then that message is then displayed on the screen using a message box. Now we have seen how we have created methods that return values. Our create number method returns an integer value. Our apply when in rule method returns a Boolean variable, and our create result message returns a string variable. All right, now the next thing we have seen is how to pass arguments. So because we know that our apply when in rule method needs to know what is the value of our final number, we have passed that variable to this method. And then our create result message needs to know whether we have a winner or not. So we were able to pass in a Boolean variable as an argument to this method. So our calling method passes variables along to these methods that we are calling right here. Now the last option that we're going to be looking at, which is passing a value by reference. And let's look at our create number method right here, and let's see what we are doing. We are creating an integer variable called final number, and then we are processing some strings from within this method, and then we are returning this final number. Well, instead of returning this value as an integer, this is what we can do. We can have it a different way. We can call our create number method, create number method, and this time we're going to say we want this method to take this variable, our final number variable, and we want it to change the value of this final number variable. So instead of having a method that returns a variable, we're going to have a void method. Okay, so we'll change our method. We will change our method to become a void method. That is a method that does not return anything. So in here, so this is our old code. Here, this is our old code that calls a create number method and then takes whatever value is returned from that method and stores it in our final number variable. Well, this code is not valid anymore because our variable now does not return anything. We have changed it to a void method. So we need to comment out our return statements, because now our method does not return anything. Instead, what this method does is take our final number variable and it changes its value. So we pass this final number as an argument to this method, right here, and then we change whatever value we have passed, because right now when we got the first final number value, that variable was set to 0. So we say, all right, for the create number method, take our final number variable and change its value to whatever it needs to be. So instead of having a 0 value for our final number, this create number method will take this variable and it will change the value. So instead of having the create number return a variable, we will not return anything. Instead, we will pass in a variable, and that variable will change its value whenever it is processed by the create number method. So in here, this is our final number. It is passed from our score user method. It is being processed from within our method right here, and then it is being returned. But this time, instead of being returned using a return statement, it is being returned to our variable that has been passed here earlier. And you're probably wondering why we are doing or returning this value this way. Well, it is your choice. Some developers prefer to have value returning methods, and other people believe that it's a lot cleaner to pass in this variable, and it's more readable to just look at the variable and say, okay, this is the value of my variable. I can track it easily. Right now it is set to 0, and then I send it to the create number method. It is being processed, and then it changes values right after or within the create number method. And let's track our variable and see how it changes value within or using our create number method. So at first we're going to create our, we're going to display the value of our variable, final number variable, and we're going to do that. We're going to say before the create number method. So that will display our value of the final number before calling our create number method, and then it will display the value again after the create number method. So let's test our code. See here, before the create number we have a value of 0, and then after the create number we have a value of 0, which is wrong. Let's go back to our code and see what we did wrong. Well, in here we are declaring a new variable, so we cannot do that. We need to be using the exact same variable that we have passed, and now it will change the value of our final number. So now it should work fine. Let's check it again. Before our create number method, we have a value for our final number set to 0. And then right after the create number method, our value for the final number is 427, which has been created using these labels right here. All right, so basically, instead of returning a variable through our method, we have passed our final number as an argument. Our final number first had a value of 0, and then after calling the create number method, that final number variable now has a value that is constructed using those labels that we have on the screen. All right, and that is how we pass a variable by reference to a method, and this is how it works. It simply changes the value of the variable that you have just passed as an argument. All right, and that concludes our video for today, and see you next time.